Step one on the juniper trees is I'll mark off some. I've got 14 gauge stranded wire here. Now I'm going to mark it off at 3.5 inches, and I'll come back 2 inches here and put a mark. I can do another one. And we'll cut these off. I'm going to take some wire strippers and I'm going to strip off to that 2-inch mark. I'll take the wire and I'll just twist it just a little bit. I'm going to put this in a vise. I take my soldering iron. I'm using a heavier or more wattage iron than I normally use. I think this is like an 85 watt. I normally use a 65 watt. And what we want to do is come up about 1.5 inches, so we're about 1/2 inch from the thing. And we're just going to run solder into this wire. I'm just going to run some solder down the length of it. This will be the part that will be in the layout. So next I'll let this cool. I'll dip it in some water here so I can move along a little quicker. Now I want to take off the rest of the insulation on this side that I left on there. So this is going to be the base of the tree that goes down into the layout. I can cut some of this excess off here. You can leave that on if you want to for a while. Now we're going to put this in the vise. And we're going to start creating some limbs off the tree. So just grab a couple, wrap them around a couple times, spread them out. Don't worry too much what you're doing at this point. So now we're just I'm going to go up the tree the opposite way. So I'm creating limbs that are at different heights coming up the tree just with these strands. You can take a couple or two. Here I went around the same way, but that's not a big problem. Come around the other way and just work my way up the tree. So depending on how long what we're doing here is going to determine how far up the tree the foliage goes. We can always trim it off wherever we want. I'm getting near the top of the tree. In fact, I'll just stop right here. Now what I want to do is take my iron again. We're just going to set all this in place by soldering it. That's why you want this iron to be hot, so that you can get, you're not waiting forever for the solder to start flowing. Now this will set all these different branches at different levels. That should be it. So now we've got the rough outline of the tree, and we can just start spreading these branches back out. See how hot it is. Normally I do a number of these, and then that way by the time I got to pick them up, they're cool. So I just want to start spreading out these different branches in here. And I'll just bring my thing in, and I'll just start trimming these extra back to where I think I want the tree to go. Just kind of be random, because you want the tree to be random. Here again, don't get too carried away with wording it exactly where everything is. Just kind of move the branches around, and so they're kind of filling in different areas. And you can have them bent slightly up or slightly down, whatever direction things are going in your tree. A lot of trees around here, because we have a lot of wind, or tree goes off on one side further than the other side, so they're not like perfect Christmas trees. So this tree is now ready for flocking, which we'll do a little bit later. But once you get to the flocking stage, you're only going to spend another couple of minutes with this tree, and now it's done, and you've got a tree. These trees will be put down in the ground, because the junipers here, the branches start literally almost right at the ground. So it's going to end up down in the ground like so. Okay, so that's the end of the first part. I'll go ahead and cover the flocking in another short video. Thanks for watching. Okay, next we'll take the tree and apply flocking to it. If I can get the camera set up right here. So what I'm using this dark green foliage, a lighter green, so you can pick what you want to do, and then I'm using this they call it forest floor, but static grass to do this. And I've got that in some cottage cheese containers. I took the tree outside for just a second and used this camouflage paint to paint the trunk and get rid of all the copper showing on it, or most of it. And then we'll use a spray adhesive. I'm using this Gorilla because it was here in town, but you could use other ones. So the tree at this point, I went out and sprayed it. And now I'm ready to put some spray adhesive on it. And I'm hoping that I can get this set up in the right place. So you don't need much of this. A couple little blasts, and then what I'm doing, you can do different ways, but I'm taking this static grass and just putting this on the tree. This will fill in some of the background on the tree. Then I'm going to just take the spray again and hit it. I don't know if I got this in the video or not. And I'll take the flocking and put it on the tree. And get the tree out of here a minute. I don't want to get all this. So normally I let this sit for just a little bit, but I can spray this again if I don't think I have enough on here. But don't forget, some of these trees, they've got dead branches and so forth. And then I just started kind of setting this on the tree from an end. So here we've got a tree. If I want to get more flocking out on some of these other branches and that, hit it with the spray again and work on those branches. If, like, I just bent one of the branches up a little bit, and that's so as you work on this, you'll get to where you'll get the shapes more like what you want. Here's some that I did yesterday. I'll put this one in here. Like I say, these go down and get down so they're almost, the branches should almost be down in the ground. So easy way to make some trees and make them so they don't all look alike. So I'm pretty happy with it. I haven't done a lot so far, about 15, but I think right now I'm down to where I can get a tree done in about 8 minutes or so. And I need a lot of trees. So getting these trees done quickly is going to be important to me. So thanks for watching the video. A few more trees that I did these trees yesterday. These trees I did here were with a different method I'm not crazy about. And I'll make some of these trees smaller, like these to the left over here, because junipers here where we are hardly ever get above 20 feet. So there's a lot of them that are in the 10 to 15 foot range, and these trees I've got right here are 15 to 20 feet scale. There's a lot of the aspen we had done the other day. My friend Ed came over and helped me with those, and so I kind of give you an idea how this is going to be. These junipers are going to be on a lot of the mesa tops around here, on further down the layout with the mesas there. Since this is supposed to be a little bit higher here with the aspen trees, I'm going to try to make some ponderosa pine. I'm still trying to come up with a fairly fast way to do those. And these junipers here would be replaced with ponderosa pine, because normally in this area the aspen up on the mountains are up with ponderosa pine. So thanks for watching. I hope this helps someone.